A Giants podcast for Giants fans
By Giants fans.
from the offseason through the wins and the losses. It's time to take one Giant step.
Welcome inside One Giant Step. The Giants season is over. Week 18 is in the books, and the New York Football Giants end the season on a 2-game win streak because, of course, they do. They beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, meaning, on a positive note, Jackson Dart will leave his rookie year with wins over the Eagles and Cowboys. Hallelujah, pop the champagne, the season is over. Now, throughout this, Bryce was texting me, can you believe they can't get this right? They can't get this right. And I expect a lot of our audience is feeling this way. We are. I mean, the game ended seconds ago, and Bryce and I, so we're getting the raw, honest reaction. Bryce is a lot more angry. I'm more subdued. So, Bryce, go off, champ.
Dude, I mean, like, I'm going to try not to be so reactive. The game just ended, but I'm trying to bring myself back down to earth. But I was fuming. I texted you, I was seething. I was like, I almost was like fight or flight, Shaun. I have never experienced a feeling like this when it comes to any of my sports teams because it's different. It's not like, the Yankees blowing it in historic fashion and playing terrible down the stretch of the season. And this has happened now 3 years in a row. So it keeps compounding onto itself. And it's become something that is just, it's taken on a new life for itself. They're 4-2. Over the last 2 games, the last 3 seasons. You can't make this shit up. I don't understand how this continues to happen year in and year out. And before you tell me that the players are not going to sell the game themselves, take out the starters. It's on the organization as well.
They did,
God forbid Jackson Dart tears his Achilles. Knock on wood. I hope that it never happens.
Oh, that's nonsense, Bryce.
That Brian Burns, first off, Brian Burns left the game early. Got 3 feet of tape on his ankle, and you're going to put him back in the game? You're going to put him back in the game and risk re-aggravating that injury. You're going to have Dexter Lawrence in that entire game.
Bryce, Dexter Lawrence barely played in the game. He was out for most of the snap.
He shouldn't have been in it at all.
The big plays are made back there. The rookies and the young guys are the ones making the play. You can't ask Jackson if Jackson Dart tears an Achilles. The whole point of playing a rookie quarterback is all those reps are valuable, dude.
Abdul Carter, good. I like him.
They
getting.
Sat Wandale Robinson.
Terrific. Brian Burns should not be in the game. Congratulations on your 16.5 sacks. You don't.
But that's why he's in the game, dude. Brian, you can't get mad at Brian. Brian Burns.
I'm not mad. Trust me, I'm not mad at any of the players.
But the Giants are giving them that option. Brian Burns wanted to play. He's a warrior. That's what makes Brian Burns what he is. The Giants went out of their way to sit guys today. It wasn't good enough. And
dude, they even with like such meaningless players, like
Bryce, they sat their 1,000-yard receiver and their top 10. They sat the top 2 targets. What was funny is now Darius Slayton's making plays. What's funny and what's ironic and what really pisses me off is that they could have had Ben Souls kicking on this team all year. They didn't. Yeah. And now you're seeing the difference when you can actually coach a game where drives can result in 3 points. I'm upset they're not going to be picking first overall. I'm upset they're not going to be picking second overall. But I'm not going to get upset at the way they beat the Dallas Cowboys. They did what they did organizationally. They sat the guys they needed to sit. They were respectful of the veterans like Brian Burns who were still playing for certain incentives and such. And Jackson Dart went out there with Gunnar Olszewski essentially as his number 1 wide receiver, and he took a lead into halftime versus the Dak Prescott Cowboys. I know Joe Milton comes into that game. It is what it is, man. And you know the big difference why you lose a game like you lost last year in Week 18 and why the Giants didn't lose this year? Last year in Week 18, Brian Dable was coaching the game, and he got assurances he was going to be back. So they were able to sit Malik Neighbors every other drive when the Eagles were toyed with it and in it.
Yep.
Mike Kafka, this could be the last chance he gets to coach a football game.
That's the issue.
He's running the trick. Exactly.
That's the issue. That's the big issue.
So when I just want everybody to keep in mind, if you're a listener right now upset about the way the Giants handled the business in that spot, right? If you're upset about it, just remember this. Brian Dable, if he's not fired in season and he knows he's about to be fired, or like maybe he gets fired for this week, like that's how you end up tanking some of these games, right? Maybe Brian Dable gets fired this week, and then there's a whole culture shock around it, and then now Mike Kafka doesn't have the time to regroup and figure out a good game plan. Like we fired Dable early, allowed Kafka to coach these crappy games, figure out what he was doing, and he wanted to go out with a bang knowing he wasn't going to be back, and that's exactly what happened. So, look, here's the bottom line. We don't have the Giants draft position right now. Bryce and I wanted to pop on immediately here. We are waiting on results now of the Jets, of Washington, not the Raiders. Who else at 4:00? Arizona.
Yes.
Figure that out. The Giants cannot pick worse than 6 based on Cleveland upsetting the Cincinnati Bengals. Bryce, the whole thing sucks. Darius Slayton turning out to be a big player in the spot sucks. But if the Giants were going to win the last 2 games, again, I sat there versus Dallas in that finale in 04. It had to be because of the quarterback on his terms. And Jackson Dart put on a show at times today. And Jackson Dart's heading into the offseason with 2 pretty good games. That flip to Bellinger as he's getting face masked down. Like, that's the Mahomes type stuff. And that's the lasting image stuff when the Giants are about to conduct a head coaching search that makes everybody realize, oh, yeah, the Giants have the goods at quarterback. I want to coach there.
Dude, I was close. I had 34-24. They win 34-17. Give myself a pat on the back if there's any silver lining. Dude, I almost put money on the Cowboys today. I thought it was a lock. I am not able to bet against any of my sports teams. The emotional hedge was not reasonable, even though it would have been reasonable for my bank account. It would have been reasonable financially.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. But I from the start, I'm like, there's no way the Giants lose this game. I said it in our preview pod. This is what they do. And I sat back at the end of that game like 10 minutes ago. And I asked myself, and I asked any other being out there, if you believe in God, ask God, what did we do as Giants fans to deserve this? To sit through every single year? 2 years ago being like, the first 11 or 12 games of terrible football. Last year, the first 16 weeks. This year, the first 16 weeks. And then all of a sudden, when we want them to lose, they do all of the stuff that we've been asking them to do all season long. And I get it. I understand the players. They're playing for pride at that point. They know the season's over.
That's why I'm not mad. I think you could simultaneously understand as a Giant fan. This sucks. So what are you mad at?
This is what happens. It's what happens. And I'm not mad. I'm not.
You know how else it happens?
I'm not mad at any specific person here. I'm more or less mad at the organization as a whole for continuing to allow this to happen. It's not on the players. It's not on the coaches. I understand Kafka's trying to coach for his future job and whatever he's going to get in the future. I don't think he should be an offensive coordinator, much less a head coach. He probably shouldn't even be anything more than like a quarterback's coach. That's another story for another day. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at the players. I'm not mad at Joe Shane. They did everything they could. It's just classic. It's classic Giants. There's nothing else you could surmise from all of this.
I just want to remind everybody today when the Giants took the field versus the Dallas Cowboys, if you're upset at the organization, I'm just gonna say these names: Malik Neighbors, Cam Scadaboo, Andrew Thomas, half-weighted with Dexter Lawrence. Aluma Noor gets hurt in this game. No Wan'Dale Robinson. No Theo Johnson. Obviously, we knew all year this was a problem, but no Micah McFadden. No Javon Holland. No Tyler Nubin. If I told you the Giants were going to play a game in Week 18 without all of those guys versus the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott would play at least a whole half, did you think the Giants were winning the game?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, that's most of their talent was out of this game.
Yes.
Most of their talent was out of this game.
Strictly,
so how could I blame the organization?
Not because of any player playing or not playing, because of vibes, because this continues to happen year in and year out. That's why. It wouldn't have been based on any statistical analysis, based on any injury reports. The fact that they do this constantly. This is what the Giants do. It's like some things just happen for some teams, like death taxes, the Giants playing well when it doesn't freaking matter. And I get it. If you're out there, you're happy about this win. You think it's a culture win, that they're going to build on this going forward. Shaun, 2/3 of the team is not going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
2/3 of this team is not going to be rostered by the New York Giants.
I don't know about 2/3.
This is a culture win for them. Congratulations.
I don't think
go and enjoy your veterans minimum contract with the Saints next year.
I mean, but here's the issue, dude. The guys who made plays today: Darius Alexander, Jackson Dart, Tyrone Tracy. Like you said, it was the blood and guts guys that you expect to be here. Marcus Bowe.
Bellinger. What future does Daniel Bellinger have on this team?
Daniel Bellinger should be signed on this team immediately. I mean, that's
but you got Theo Johnson, so
I trust Bellinger more. By the way, the jersey I wore today was the Daniel Bellinger.
Nice. I still can't believe you spent United States currency on that.
I did. So, Bryce, look, we wanted to get a little reaction out here. I know you were raw. I know you were upset. I'm upset too. Look, here would be my overall message to Giants fans, because I'm going to try to spin this the best I can. To sit through what we sat through for most of this year and all the collapsed leads, all the blown leads, all the losses that stacked up, and get maybe the 6th pick, maybe the 5th pick, it's disheartening. I think it speaks to a bigger issue that it's not on the Giants, it's on the NFL draft situation. There should be a lottery like there is in the NBA, and there's not. But look, there's not. In the end, Jackson Dart, by virtue of these 2 wins, will finish his rookie year as a starter 4-8. And in those 8 losses, the Bears, he gets hurt, that collapse loss. The Denver game, which he re-gives the team the lead, collapse loss. What are the other losses that Jackson Dart had that I'm
Saints,
forgetting?
the 5 turnovers in a row.
Saints, right, exactly. And I think the Scadaboo fumble was the worst. Obviously, you had the Minnesota-Washington games and New England, which were really, really bad. And honestly,
you could point to any one of those games and blame a certain thing. Like against the Patriots, special teams allows like 600 points.
Of course. I'm just reliving the Dart season, man. Like, Dart did enough for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Has a better year than Tyler Shuck. But I think that, Bryce, last year, I remember being so pissed off when Drew Lock beat the Colts, and then the Giants figured out a way to kind of tank and lose to the Eagles. I think I'm less pissed off because it was about the rookie quarterback and Dart making plays the last 2 weeks. And in the end, there's no doubt that we wanted higher capital and be able to trade out of those picks. No doubt. But this is going to be your annual reminder. The Giants screwed that up last year, and if they had not screwed it up, they would have drafted Cam Ward and they wouldn't have had Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart. Like,
it's different though. They have the quarterback now. It's
exactly.
Different.
No.
If anything,
but that's also why I'm
more upset. I
think that's why, like, I'm with you, but at the same time, like, okay, like in the end, and we're going to do a podcast on this week because we got to wait for the official firings to come out. And I want to go pretty deep dive into Kevin Stefanski because, like, full disclosure, like, that's my favorite for the Giants job. I have reason to believe like the Giants are fully all in on him. You know, if the Giants are sitting there in August and they have whoever they pick in the top 6 and they hire Kevin Stefanski and they have a good, free agent, you're telling me we're not going to be excited based on what's transpired here with Jackson Dart for next season?
But the goalposts have been moved.
Of course they have.
Lowered. The hope has gone down. And that's unfortunate because now we're in a different reality. Like,
yeah, but take you back.
We're like, are they going right now? A week ago, they're going into that game against the Raiders, and we're like, are they going to end up with the first pick? And it's now, are they going to end up with 6, 5, 4, 3?
But if I ask you to transport yourself back to the New England game and going into that day, and we all thought, hey, they're going to win 2 of these last 5 games, so I'm not even going to get all worked up at the first pick. Guess what? We all said it. They did. They just won the last 2, which makes it worse.
Sucks. Yeah. I mean, that's worst case scenario if you gave me that hypothetical.
Yeah.
I am, again, like, I'm thinking like a fan right now because it's so raw, so close to what we witnessed, and it's just, as a fan, man, it's infuriating. Like, this continues to happen, and like I wish I had more time to sit here and let it sink in. But we had some time here. We had a little bit of a window before some entertaining games in the 4:00 slate. Of course, games that will matter for the Giants, games that might not be even close. The Jets game. The line is 13.5. The Cardinals probably have no chance against the Rams, and so on and so forth. But either way, I'm disappointed. I'm upset. And if there's anyone out there who's excited, happy from this result, congratulations. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, congratulations. I'm not going to try to move you off your position. I'm not trying to, rain down on your parade.
Yeah. No, I got you.
You're allowed to have any sort of reaction to anything in this world.
No,
I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you're wrong, but you're wrong.
Bryce, I think you represent a lot of the fan base here. And again, I'm not trying to act like I'm not with you. I'm with you. I'm just, maybe it's apathy. Maybe I've just been here so long.
You're also an older fan. Like, you've witnessed.
God, don't make me feel that old.
I know
I've seen this.
I didn't say you're an old fan. You're
but I've also, and I've seen all this crap happen before. And I've seen
what do you remember? 3 different Super Bowls?
Yeah, and I remember these games. Like, I remember the Andrew Thomas Chase Young game being a big deal. We lost out on Chase Young and it worked out better. I remember last year and it worked out better. So,
but like, I get that, but this wasn't just going to be one draft pick where they get lucky. It was, they were going to add 2 first round picks.
I know.
A first rounder this year and a first rounder next year. And now they're going to be,
okay. But also
with one, with Joe Shane, as the GM.
And again, I don't know where this is going to go here, and we're going to be upset about Joe Shane. We're going to do plenty of podcasts about this. Last year in the first round, the Rams acquired an extra 1 for the Falcons trading up for a DN. Like,
that was idiotic. Like, that doesn't happen very often. It's like the Pelicans trade up for Derek
the Texans traded up for Will Anderson. Last year, the Jaguars traded up for Travis Hunter. All I'm saying is, like, the Giants still can accumulate more picks here, no matter where they pick. We don't know how it's going to fall, or they just end up with the best player in that spot that they deem who they want that to be. There's still chance for movement. And in the end, what's the most important thing for this team right now is not about the draft picks. It's about getting the freaking head coach right. And that is why you should download and subscribe to One Giant Step. Because now that we've kind of, got our anguish out about this game and the immediacy of this game, we are going to have a full month here where we're going to have coach interviews. We're going to have coach speculation. And Bryce and I are going to be on top of that throughout. And then once that clears and they make a decision on that, you have the look ahead to the draft in February, the combine, free agency in March. And then, of course, the draft itself in late April, followed by a schedule release in May. The Giants season sucked, but the offseason actually has the potential to be a lot of fun with a lot of content, and probably will be a lot more fun to talk about than the crap.
It would have been a lot more fun to talk about if they had the first and second pick. Sorry to say.
But they don't, Bryce. So now we're in now what mode? All right. Listen, we wanted to pump this out for you. That Bryce is more pissed than I am. We end that year on a high note with Jackson Dart, a low note in terms of winning games back-to-back. We need a draft position. Bryce and I want to be back at some point, either Tuesday or Wednesday, pump out a podcast because I want the dust to clear on all the coaching firings in the NFL. So we have a real list to look at in terms of guys you'd be interested in, a la Kevin Stefanski, and kind of build a list from there and then kind of see where Bryce is at as the dust kind of settles. And we know exactly where the Giants are picking, because you may listen to this and know where the Giants are picking. The 4:00 games haven't even kicked off yet. And Bryce and I are recording this podcast.
Yeah.
At Bryce Gelman, at Shaun Morash, Twitter and X. It's been a hell of a regular season. The fun actually starts now. So download and subscribe to One Giant Step everywhere podcasts are available. Thank you to all of us out there, all of you out there in the audience. We appreciate you. Thanks for taking one giant step with us.